Back in early November, I went to a friend's house to hang out and watch him and another freak out about a game I had no idea about. I didn't know what was happening, who was who, and I didn't know what "ooh boy" meant, and so on. Upon hearing that it was Persona 5 Royal, I was interested in getting the game, because it slowly started hitting me that, oh yeah, most of my friend group has played this game, I think, but I still don't know anything about it. After showing me a few videos, my friend has convinced me to buy Persona 5 and see what I have been missing. I gave my first impression by mid-November and I loved it. By this point, I've beaten the game twice now, a regular run and New Game Plus. So I sense that I've gotten the full complete package of playing the game by now, start to finish, twice. Now let me also put up this disclaimer. This is my first entire step into the Persona franchise, and why I bring that up is because as much as I'll gush over one thing from this game, I know I'll have at least one person telling me that this, that, and blankety blank was better in Persona 4 or Persona 3. Okay, yeah, I get that, and I've been trying to learn more about those and everything revolving around those games, but I haven't played those games, so I still don't know shit. In other words, I won't and can't be making comparisons from earlier installments from the series. I just don't have the knowledge to do so. So I hope that doesn't bug anyone that I'm clearly not a hardcore fan. But that doesn't mean I won't give this review my all. With all that out of the way,
it's showtime!
This is my review of Persona 5. But before we get to the purpose of the video, let me just say that this is a game review. And this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I'm kidding! I just really wanted to do that joke. Okay, to the actual review. Moving on. Just like I said in my other Persona 5 video, right there, I said that I enjoyed it so far, and that statement has definitely still carried, especially that this is my first real experience in the whole RPG/social simulator type genre. Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, they looked cool, but nothing really drove me to play them. Again, I was in the whole platformer and bit of fighting games mindset, so of course my mind was blown to heaven when playing this game. I swear, this game was an experience that you can really only have once. Let's tackle some things one at a time, with what I like to call the game review hierarchy, going from the most important at the bottom to the least important at the top, of features within a game. So, let's start with the most important thing, the gameplay. Now, because this is an RPG, I can simply just say that this game is pretty much like Pokemon. You fight monsters and capture them. Nothing really wrong about that. But I don't like saying that. A great way to a conversation is to say that this is the same game where you can run on a treadmill, bust your ass, and level up your health as a result.
Alright.
Or go down the street and have the doctor flirt with you and she becomes your local drug dealer. It's perfect. I love dumb shit like this. But if there's any words that perfectly describes the game, it would be class and style. Mostly style, and it has a lot of it, and it's not afraid to remind you as much as possible by the character designs, the attacks, abilities, and even the areas that you're in as you play the game. Going back to the whole RPG thing and the turn-based combat idea, it's pretty good. And a fun twist, similar to Pokemon, you get to surprise your enemies and ambush them, guaranteeing the first turn for your whole team. The combat with your melee attacks, your guns, personas, guns agains, and the oh-so-famous all-out attack, or the Safe to say that the battles are fun. Another aspect is that of the number of puzzles presented, which most of them are not all that convoluted. They actually provide a decent challenge. Except this one. I know I'm jumping the gun a bit here, but who the fuck came up with this airlock puzzle? It's freaking ridiculous. How would anyone figure this shit out? I legit had more fun with the later mouse puzzle that's consistently thrown in your face. Finally though, there's the confidant or the social link system, which is something every major or minor character has. It's something to help you overall with the aforementioned combat, not just exclusively with your teammates to kick ass harder, but with others around the city that can help you in other ways. Want better guns? No problem, there's a guy for that. Want to be better with said gun? There's a kid at the arcade who could teach you something. Want to skip school, have coffee, curry, and your laundry done by next week? Call your teacher over. There's bound to be someone that will interest you to want you to spend time with them. There's something and someone for everyone in this game. And with everything presented, why are you doing it, you may ask? Well, that's where the story comes in. There needs to be a reason on why the character you're playing is doing anything to begin with, and that's what the story is for. Being falsely accused, the protagonist is now on probation and is sent to live somewhere else with someone else to try and get his act together for a year. But from the first week alone, there's something odd going on. Answer being that people so wicked and stubborn in the real world start to form creations in another world called the metaverse, and those creations called palaces. Basically super big dungeons in the levels of the game. You wind up there by accident, and from being cornered, through the power of rebellion, you unlock your stand, I mean persona, the real you, but with superpowers. From that, you slowly begin to learn that there are some shitty people out there in the world, and you can stop them and change their hearts and have them confess their crimes for the better. Coming across different people who eventually meet the same goal as you, you form the Phantom Thieves, all for the sake of rising against society and changing it for the better. That's pretty much the most basic way of explaining the plot without getting too deep or spoiler heavy, because it goes on and on and on. Or at least another way of putting it is that it's codenamed Kids Next Door, but older. Anyways, the story does go the distance to making you feel like that you're doing everything to help others around you when they have nothing to do with you in the first place, yet you still choose to help them. It makes you feel for these characters at times, like you truly are on a journey with them. It gets wacky, insane, dark, and sometimes questionable overall, but I will comment on that the game loves throwing you into a loop as much as possible. More loops, twists, and turns than a Hot Wheels track. Though I will say as well that the story sometimes does drag a bit here and there. Not often at all, really, but when it's noticeable, it gets a bit nerve-wracking to say the least. I put it that way because when you're starting to get used to the game and the use of free time or schedule you plan to help yourself get the best out of everything, the story will kick in eventually, and depending on how serious the matter is, you really don't get to play the game, instead just listen for the next 20 to 40 minutes of in-game cutscenes and dialogue. Nothing terrible at all, really. Gotta get the plot moving again somehow, of course. But when you're just there for 2, 3, maybe even more days, not given the choice to do anything yourself, it's a bit of a pain. But again, this story does make you feel for the people around you, from how you first meet them to having to say goodbye to them by the end. It's very heartwarming and sad at the same time, because it's like you don't want to go, and when those credits roll with the ending theme, it hits hard. And speaking of themes, that's where the music kicks in. Legit, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the music because it clearly speaks for itself. If you like class, if you like jazz, if you like rock and roll at times, this game has it turned up to 11 out of 10.
Champagne floating, dinner suicide. Keep your phone class away from her cheating hands. Tell me that sexy. Gonna say what she's got in store for her man. So we know the dice, see what they're made for. So you know that we out there, swatting lights in the making. Yeah, we'll pass without breaking.
The soundtrack of this game is fucking mental. It's really good, even if you don't know what the singer is saying half the time. Bonus thought is that I've even listened to a few tracks from the Royal version that's coming out soon, and they got some pretty bangers in there as well. So this game is nice to listen to. Is it nice to look at? Now, I'll be honest, I'm not really the biggest buff when it comes to graphics. Like, if I can at least play the game, then fine, whatever. Graphics are relatively in the back of my mind, not to be brought up for most of the time. But the game's presentation overall is very nice. The characters look rather great as well, at least the ones that matter, because random people are just kind of there and mostly faceless people, though I think that's the point in some way. I don't know. Going back to the single word of style, it has so much of it. But that's mostly when you're in the battles, of course. When you're just hanging out with your friends, it's also just fine. Honestly, nothing too spectacular, though I can say that when you are hanging out with them, 80% of the time, it's roughly stilted, because it's just talking back and forth, nothing amazing to really see. But again, the story is what the main focus is for the majority of things in this game. That happens when you're hanging out with the confidants. But that kind of leads into my next point. We're going to be stepping outside of the hierarchy for a bit, or at least I think this does fall into the overall enjoyment category, or at least things I didn't enjoy. That's better. So, as much as I said I enjoy this game from the start menu to the credits, there's seriously only one thing I didn't like. That being how the confidants were more or less handled in this game. And I'm mainly talking about how and when you can rank them up. I honestly don't mind the whole social stat idea in this game. It gives you something else to do for sure and explore the city. That's great. But because I don't have level 3 knowledge, I can't hang out with Makoto, and then later need level 5 charm to finish it by halfway through. And this idea applies to a handful of the confidants, if not half of them. The thing is, I really don't mind it being for the super side characters, like the doctor or the gun owner, etc. It would make sense there, I would say, but when I can't even rank up some of the main characters due to social stat requirements, that is just downright stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I ain't even trying to do anything serious. I just want fucking baton pass from Haru. And yeah, sure, that's what New Game Plus is for, so you can just not put as much focus into that. But when you're playing it for the very first time and don't know what requirements you need by that time, you're kind of screwed. The game just kind of tells you, fuck off, come back later, dipshit. Like, alright, fine. Second thing, which is more of just a super subjective thing, but almost everything to do with the Akumura Palace, just, no. I really didn't have much of a ball here my first time, and by my second time, it was more or less a chore to do. There's only 3 things I get out of this palace. 1, I can now use downshot and bullet hail, which, now that I think about it, doesn't matter too much here because most of the enemies are strong or immune to physical or gun damage, oh boy! 2, we get Haru, who by all means is the definition of cute, and 3, I get satisfaction from beating up Starfish. There's an hour-long video on why Akumura's Palace is pretty bad overall, like just taking everything that revolves around it, so go check out that video for more details. The guy who made it, he's pretty good at what he made with his points. And if I had made this review any earlier, I probably would have put the final boss here. But that was me just being a dumb bitch. I just didn't like it at first, because I thought Shido was a great final boss, but then Yabba Dabba Do, whatever his fucking name is, just comes out of nowheres, and I get my ass handed to me enough times. But from my second playthrough, I see that he does make sense, and is actually fine, and I was just being stupid. But speaking of stupid things, that's the last thing on the hierarchy, and that is dumb fun shit.
Yeah.
And I'm primarily talking about the dating in this game, because someone asked me from my last video, who did I choose to romance? I'll first start with giving my thoughts on the other girls, but I won't be doing it in a tier list style. No. I have the scale. Self-explanatory, really. So, out of these group of ladies, who did the teacher.
Hi!
Kawakami. Straight up. First and second playthrough. Now, that wasn't my goal when I first started playing, I'll be honest. Like most people who play past the first 4 hours of the game, you'll meet Takemi, the doctor. And I'm pretty sure it's scientifically proven that you have to be attracted to her in some shape or form. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. But my path to ranking her up got a bit sidetracked when things went along like this, so to speak. Oh yeah, I can't wait to rank up this beauty. Let's go.
To progress to rank 8 of the Death Confidant, the protagonist must reach the 4th level of the charm social stat, charismatic.
Well, I mean, the teacher's pretty cute, nothing wrong there. And I can say that I had the mindset that most had at first. Like, lady, what is your problem? Oh. God damn it, that's not fair. That hit me right in my heart. Now I have to like her. And on top of the fact that her blushing or being embarrassed is the cutest fucking thing ever.
I know I always end up depending on you because you're so reliable. But depend on me sometimes, alright?
Great, now I love her. And because of that, my phone gallery now looks like this. I'm not ashamed though. Plus, why wouldn't you want to date her? Or at least get her to max rank? Because when you do that, you give Morgana the biggest middle finger besides dating on.
It's been 38 minutes already. Jesus Christ, what the f? Go to
Nuh-uh, you feline fucker. I'm getting a massage. Now shut the hell up.
Your feelings for her are not real. They are real to me!
Also, you might complain about the scale. Go ahead, doesn't really matter, because it's nothing but a race for second place, because we all know that Ryuji is above all. Yusuke's cool too. So if you still have a problem with that, you can go fuck.
繋いでみてもどれだけ救っても指の間からこぼれる砂よそれでも目に見えてるものだけが全てじゃない Listen my heart 探そう
Well, after that random track of thought, it's about time that I give my final overall thoughts. I can now fully see what I've been missing for the past few years. Truly funny how I never really picked up on the series at all till a few months ago. I understand all the hype that goes around it, not just for this game, but for the whole series and franchise. I don't want to sound like I'm an expert by this point, but having this be my first adventure and experience with the Persona series was not a good one. But an amazing one, of course, to where you can't fully recreate the feeling and moments you had the first time when playing. It's truly magical. Now, of course, just because I loved this game doesn't mean that there weren't problems I had with it through playing. There were a few, but those few issues don't have me quitting the game or anything of the sort. It serves more of a purpose to enjoy everything else that was given throughout the game. I clearly don't need to say that I would recommend this game because I'm probably the last person on the planet who's played it by this point or knows anything about it. So, though, if this isn't enough for you, and if you want a bit more, I can say that you can get the Royal Edition that's coming out soon by the time of this upload. It adds a bit more to the stories, a few more characters, more kick-ass songs, and the combat is better overall from what I've been hearing. Though, if you're just happy with the vanilla version as most people call it, go right ahead and start the show. And that is my review of Persona 5. It's a very fun game that I, of course, enjoyed throughout. And if you're probably wondering why I didn't give this game like a blank out of 10, I don't need to be doing that. I've just said an entire paragraph on what I like and don't like about this game. And if that wasn't enough for you, then I don't know what to tell you. Because by that point, I don't need to be stapling a specific number out of 10 to give you my exact thoughts. It feels like that defeats the purpose of me writing down all of this and then you just skipping to the end saying like, oh, you gave it a this out of 10. Oh, okay, it must be good. Well, with all that done, Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know this is something completely different from what I do, but that's honestly why I haven't been making as many videos as I usually do, because I know I usually upload like at least once a week. But this has pretty much been taking up most of my time, because I wanted to fully gather my thoughts and try and do something different, because I really want to do game reviews, and I have so many that I want to talk about, some that have impacted my entire life, that I've grown up with, and everything of the sort. So, yeah. If you guys thought this video was nice, or if you want to see more of it, I will happily do more game reviews like this style. On the comments below, just let me know. You know what to do with the links that I provide. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else you know what to do.